Hey all, Tom Oriente here from Tom's Big Spiders. Well, a while back I picked up 4 supposedly new species of Phormictopus, and now we're ready to rehouse 2 of them. So what we're going to be doing today is rehousing my Phormictopus species Sabana and my Phormictopus species Oriente. Those are the 2 biggest ones of the ones I got. And I know a lot of people have been waiting to see this video because some of them have picked up these spiders and are really hoping that there's something new and unique. So what we're going to do today is get them into their new houses and talk a bit about that. So enough of me talking. Let's take a look at the rehousings of 2 Phormictopus species. All right, so we have 2 Phormictopus species to rehouse here. Phormictopus species Sabana and Phormictopus species Oriente. I got these from Joe Rossi back in October of 2021, so it was a lot longer ago than I was expecting. And when I first got them, I'll show some footage. I had them in larger dram vials because they were a little bit smaller at the time. The Sabana was the largest of the group of 4 I got at about 1.5 inches or 3.81 centimeters. The Oriente was about 1.25 inches or 3.18 centimeters. Then we rehoused them into these in August of 2022. These are the Sterilite ID latch containers. They're 7 5/8 by 5 5/8 by 6 inches high or 19.4 centimeters by 14.3 by 15.2. I love these for my juveniles. I have a whole row of like 20 of them up on the shelf. And they're easy to ventilate. They're a good size. They allow a lot of room for burrowing, which is good because as you'll see, the 2 that we are going to be rehousing today have actually done quite a bit of burrowing. I've mentioned before that the majority of my Phormictopus species, they burrowed a little bit as slings, but most of them, once they hit the juvenile stage, were out and about. These guys have continued to keep their burrows, which I think is quite interesting. Now, this one here is pretty good size. You'll see when we get it out, probably about that big, so it definitely needs a new house. And it is very, very flighty. So I'm kind of curious to see how this one goes because she, when I catch her on the top, immediately bolts. And the one time I caught her out and about, I did get a little threat posture. It was more cute than anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to move her from this Sterilite container to this Sterilite container over here. This is one that I like to put my larger specimens into. It's a Sterilite clear view latch container. It gives me enough room to kind of pack in some substrate, so if it does want to burrow, they can burrow up in here. The substrate in this one is my own mixture. It is cocoa fiber and peat with some, I think I put vermiculite in. I used up the last of my vermiculite, which reminds me I need more vermiculite because I'm starting to mix my own substrates again because it just gets too expensive to buy the premium stuff. I did the BioDude. I love the BioDude stuff, don't get me wrong, but I use so darn much of it and it has gone up because I think the cost of shipping has gone up. So it's just not worth it anymore when I can make my own and create a concoction that fits my needs. Now, what I got here, I just put a little sprig of sphagnum moss in here just for appearances, some leaf litter, again, just for appearances, water dish, which we will fill up after the fact. But what we're going to do is move it from point A to point B. Hopefully it goes well. I haven't had to dig one up in quite some time, but I think what we're going to do is try to turn this on its side. I'm sorry. Move this out. And there is the spider. Oh, I feel bad. You see it right in there. Don't worry if you can't get a good look at it. Oh. Now, what I'm noticing, when I pick these guys up, there's a lot of Phormictopus species have become incredibly popular. And we've had a lot of an influx of new quote-unquote species that are just different regional variants, most likely of Cancerides. There's a good chance these are just different colorations of Cancerides, but I have been noting some differences in their appearances. So if you notice the abdomen, the abdominal hair there is more of a reddish tone. And then there is some bronze striping on here. So a little different than what I've normally seen from my other Phormictopus species. Now let me see, how do we go about doing this? Oh, all this lovely dirt. And there's so many, you can see about the molts. There's like molts buried in here. People freak out when I don't remove molts immediately, but they don't pose any harm. Ooh. So I don't know if you're going to be able to get a good look, but definitely, actually, we want to tilt this down so she doesn't go up. They want to go up. Probably not a good view of her. We'll hopefully get her out and about so we can see her. So let's move this out of the way for a second. Set this over here. We have a second one to do. That's going to be a mess.
Yeah, she's turned around. Okay.
Yeah, no, I got it. See if we can't get her to go down and get a look at her, because I'm kind of curious myself to see. Oh, don't, no. All right, real quick. No. There she goes. I mean, definitely a unique color. That was a good shot of her. Definitely a unique coloration. I mean, I've raised up, let's see, 4 full-grown Phormictopus cancerides, females, or 3 females, 1 male, and then I have 3 that I purchased as Phormictopus species purple about 10 years ago. All they were was cancerides. They're exactly the same as my cancerides, except one of them was a little bit more purple than the other ones. And this one doesn't look like that. Unfortunately, not a good, no, he's gone. So we're going to go ahead, fill this water dish, and let this one be. And one of the things I like to, I don't like to do the whole photo shoot thing. So if I really wanted to, I could put the brush in there, coax her out so we get some footage of her, but I'd rather her be calm, make her, hopefully what she's going to do is do some burrowing in there. We have given her enough room. There's about probably 4 inches of substrate in here. She'll be able to pull some dirt out, make a nice little burrow, and feel safe and secure, because that's what it's about. It's not about teasing the animals to get them on camera. It's not my thing. All right, 1 down. Hopefully this one we can get some shots of. We'll put this over here. Now this one is the Oriente, correct? Yes, right? I hope. Let's clean up this mess.
I got your blueberry lemonade, by the way.
Oh, good. That's going to get, don't throw that bottle away. That's going to get turned into one of these. Maybe if I start doing the blueberry, they'll sponsor me. Like, we're not getting it with the lime. I've yet to be contacted. Although I've been contacted by, what is it, Temu?
Yeah.
Temu, I've been contacted by them 5 times now. The woman's so nice. I just never answer back because it's like ridiculous. If you're on my channel, you realize I don't have ads or anything. I'm not going to promote that. It's cute. My kids at school thought it was kind of cool. But not going to be sponsored by Temu. All right, so this one here, again, this is the, this is the Sabana. The other one was the Oriente, right? All right, okay. Last one was the Sabana. This is the Oriente. Let me just dump this out. This one looked pretty good size as well. And like the other one, this one has done quite a bit of burrowing. The Sabana, I almost thought might come out a mature male because I hadn't seen it in a while. It molted, it burrowed and stayed burrow for a couple months, which I haven't had one of them do that. This one looks almost exactly the same. Oh, whoa. Okay, no, it doesn't. Kind of a reddish tone
it's just
to
reddish.
it.
It doesn't have the stripes either.
It's got a little bit, just not as...
Yeah, not as pronounced.
All right, you need to pose for us so we can get some pictures. Ooh. This is more of a bronze. I don't know if it's coming out. Let me get the light over here. Not as much red on the abdomen. More bronze carapace. I mean, again, it could just be another Phormictopus cancerides, just a different. And I got a funny feeling that's what a lot of these are going to turn out to be. Honestly, it didn't bother me too much. Oh, Billy's helping out here. Whee! It didn't bother me. It won't bother me too much because I'd rather have it turn into something I already have that have missed out on one, because I love Phormictopus. All right. Now, you want to move away from that. All right. She's not going to move away from it, so what we're going to do... Really rather her stay outside for a minute.
In the bin.
Yeah, let me get a little bit of her there. You're getting a good shot of her. All right, back up for a minute because I'm going to go ahead and give her a poke. Oh, okay, hold on. She's going to pose for us. It kind of looks like the other one, but lighter. I mean, definitely different coloration overall than most of my Concerities. But would grow up to look exactly like them. Concerities went through so many different color changes as they grew up. They went darker, they went lighter, some went a little purplish, and the next molt they're a little bronze, so it's so tough to tell. Gorgeous spider nonetheless. And before anybody asks, because I've had some issues with this lately, her booty's a little smaller because she literally just molted. She's eaten twice since she molted. I got to put some size on her, but very, very pretty. Oh, while you're doing that, I'm going to go fill the water dish. Get some ASMR. Actually, we won't because the microphone's way up here. There we go. So looking gorgeous. I forgot to turn the humidifier off, so that's been buzzing in the background. Looking gorgeous. Hopefully this gives her plenty of room to grow up. I have adult females in these enclosures. And what I want to do is wait to see what these are, sex them. If they're females, I will likely put them into something bigger and more attractive so that I can show them off, because it is my goal to have like all the Phormictopus species females visible so you can go around right down the row and check them all out. But very, very pretty spider. Now, as far as the size on these guys, they haven't grown as quickly as other ones that I have raised up. I think part of that's due to the fact that I don't feed as often as I used to. When I first got into Phormictopus species, I was floored by the feeding response. So I would jack these guys up. I would feed them constantly. Now I feed these like every other week or so. So that's probably what can be contributed, or what we can attribute the slower growth rate to. This one here looks like she's pushing probably 5 inches or so. So not bad, not a small spider in any stretch of the imagination, but I've had my Phormictopus Concerities can hit 4.5, 5 inches in just over a year. So a little bit slower. And then I have 2 other species that I got in the same batch that were smaller, that they're about 3 inches or so. So they've been growing really small. So there we go. Phormictopus species Sabana. The other one was Phormictopus species Oriente. I will definitely keep folks updated on these as they grow to see what they look like as adults, because I'm hoping what we'll get is something that looks different than your normal everyday Phormictopus Concerities. So I didn't get into a lot about the care of these guys because I've done a lot of Phormictopus species videos, so I will put links to those at the end so you can kind of get an idea of how I keep them. But I found that Phormictopus are just about bulletproof in terms of care. Yes, slings will like a bit of moisture, so you want to give them deep moist substrate so they can do some burrowing. But as they get older and put on some size, they're more and more hardy. I know a lot of folks who keep their adults bone dry with just a water dish, and they can definitely live like that. Mine, during the summertime when it's humid, I kind of let things dry out a bit, but during the wintertime, every time I water them, I soak down at the corner, make sure they have a moist spot. They don't seem to prefer it one way or the other, but I just want to make sure they have that. And they're eating machines. So one of the things I alluded to in this video is that my older ones grew rather quickly. It's because I loved watching them eat. They'll grab crickets, barrel roll. This was the species of spider, or the genus of spider, that I got into that showed me the difference between something that eats kind of daintily and something that will go out there and chase something down, even a prey item almost as large as it is, which was really a lot of fun when I first got serious into the hobby and started branching out and keeping some of the more intermediate type species, if there is such a thing. Now, a note on these guys. They were very expensive. I was really waiting to pull the trigger. I saw a couple vendors that had them for sale, and I kind of passed on them, but Joe Rossi had them for a good price, so I got one of each. Normally I do 2 or 3 of each, but I just didn't want to spend that much money on something that might just end up being a different coloration or a different regional variant of just the regular Phormictopus Concerities. Now, right now, as I'm looking at them, they look beautiful. They look a little different than some of the other ones I've raised up, but I got to be completely honest. If I was someone out there that wasn't a Phormictopus aficionado, that was looking to grab up every single one out there, I don't know if I'd spend the extra money on the off chance that these are going to turn into something unique. So what I'm saying is, if you're out there, you're looking to get your first Phormictopus, and these guys come up, and you're like, should I spend 150, 200 bucks on them? Unless you're really looking to have them all, I would hold off and just get a regular Phormictopus Concerities, because They look very similar. Are there some color differences? Yes, but I will tell you, having raised up several different Phormictopus cancerides over the years, they all go through many color changes. So at any given time, one can look totally different from its own sac mate, even at the same size. And this goes doubly true with the ones that I bought years ago that were called Phormictopus species purples. There was really no purple involved. I'm assuming somewhere along the line they had a female that had a little more purple on it. They went, oh, this is a different species. Let's breed these and sell them for even more money. But when it all is said and done, the one that I have that I could call kind of purple is just darker than most of my normal standard Phormictopus species and has a little more purple on the carapace. The other two that I bought as purples just look like regular Phormictopus cancerides. So something to keep in mind. I know folks will sit there and go, are they worth the money? For me, they are, because I want to try to grab every single one of them that's out there. So even if when all said and done, I just have more Phormictopus cancerides, is one of my all-time favorite spiders, I'm okay with it. But if it's somebody that's just getting into the hobby or just starting to look at Phormictopus, start with one of the less expensive ones. Even Phormictopus species Dominican purples are becoming more prevalent in the hobby and are less expensive than these guys by a mile, at least right now. So I would grab one of those, a species green Veemer, any of those other ones, but I would hold off on these if you're just not really into grabbing possibly a new species of Phormictopus. So that will do it for this one. Guys, you know the drill. If you liked it, feel free to subscribe. I'm not going to beg. We're going to put some more Phormictopus videos over here. You take the time to comment. I'll take the time to respond. I'm hugely behind on comments, and for that, I'm sincerely sorry. I'm going to catch up on them in a minute. Guys, stay safe. Catch you all next time.